Today, we're gonna be talking about the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods. This gang is arguably the most militant blood gang that come out of Los Angeles, California. They have known stories from robbery, murders, massacres, walk-down assassinations, and a lot of other gruesome activities attached to their history. So this gang definitely has a story to tell. Yeah. All right. Welcome to Cali's Most Dangerous. Let's get into it. Whoa, whoa.
Fucking stay in school, nigga. If you want to bang, nigga, then you already know where it's headed, nigga. You already know where it's headed. We done lost too much, nigga. Up or down, your mom and daddy ain't lying to you, fool. They ain't lying. So if you gonna be with it or without it, nigga. I can't tell you nothing more than that.
On the evening of December 7th, 2008, Stephanie Smith drove her car to the home where her son, Dedrick Wallace, also known as Kool-Aid, a member of the 9-4 Hoover criminals, was staying with his girlfriend. In the front passenger seat was Smith's 13-year-old daughter, Satiera Smith. And in the rear, behind Smith, sat her stepdaughter, Brianna Chase Simpson. Wallace's girlfriend, Retrice Fields, lived near the intersection of 102nd Street and Denver Street in Los Angeles, California. Wallace and Fields came out of the car, and Smith stood and spoke with Smith on the driver's side of the car. While they were talking, a champagne-colored car rolled by and almost struck Fields as he drove by. The group was mad and yelled towards the car and thought that was the end of it. So Wallace asked Smith to take him to the gas station so he can get some snacks. On the way back to the gas station, Brianna noticed the car flashing his high beam lights behind him, but she didn't think anything of it. After Wallace made his purchases, Smith began driving him back to his girlfriend's. While driving back, Satiera noticed a car with bright lights following him closely. Upon arriving at Smith's home, Smith pulled over to the park and she said, "Don't turn around, it may be the police." At that point, the car behind him pulled up alongside Smith and started letting off multiple shots into the car. Brianna looked over and saw a gun. Satiera heard 9 or 10 gunshots. Wallace, who had been getting out of the car, ducked and he was uninjured. But Smith died from multiple gunshots. She suffered 4 wounds, one of which was fatal. Brianna fell over into the car seat and blacked out, although she could still hear. She heard Satiera screaming. Brianna was struck by bullets in her jaw and her right leg. She was not able to speak for a month due to the wound to her jaw, and the left side of her body was partially paralyzed for 2 or 3 months. Satiera was hit 3 times. She suffered wounds to her arm, elbow, and her thigh. The bullet that hit her arm traveled through her stomach and pierced her lung, causing it to collapse. Police found 10 cartridge casings in the area near the shooting. All of the cartridge cases were from a 9mm caliber gun. 9 of the cartridge cases were found to be fired from the same firearm as well. On December 8th, 2008, in the early mornings after the shooting, Los Angeles police detectives interviewed Wallace at the hospital. Wallace described the suspect's vehicles as a 1990s era champagne-colored Nissan Maxima with tinted windows. Wallace said he saw 3 or 4 black males in the vehicle. At 10:35 that day, Wallace telephoned a detective and said the car was not a Maxima, but rather an Infiniti that looked like the Ultimate. He said it was champagne colored or beige. Wallace stated that the photograph depicted in the vehicle involved in the shooting was also the vehicle that banged on him about 2 to 4 days before the shootings. Wallace also stated that he heard someone say lanes after the shootings, but he was not sure if it was just in his head. Also during the interview, the detective showed Wallace a photographic lineup of Eric Perez, who was also known as Big E-Mac, a known member of the Denver Lane Bloods, and he was the focus of this case. As the detective extracted the lineup from his notebook, Wallace pointed to the photograph of Big E, and he said, "That's him, that's him." He said that Big E was the person he saw say Denver Lanes while he threw up gang signs a few days before the shootings. It was the same car he saw drive by when his mother was killed, and shots came from that same car. After all that though, Wallace was an uncorroborated witness at trial. He testified that he did not recall speaking to police on 2 occasions, and he did not make any statements to the detectives. He said he didn't even know where the shooting was coming from because he was ducking. When asked what a snitch was, he replied, "I don't know, you tell me." He also denied being a member of the 9-4 Hoover criminals. Lastly, he denied signing the photographic lineup and writing on it. But with or without his statements, the pigs already had what they needed. Because after known Denver Lane Blood, Michael Lancaster was caught, the pigs arranged for Lancaster to be placed in the cell with Kerry Smith, a fellow Denver Lane gang member, at the Los Angeles County Jail, and a conversation was recorded. In essence, he admitted to killing the Kerry as they talked, and the recording was used to help convict the Denver Lane members, and as a result, the members sentenced to life in prison. Bruh, insane was the first word I thought of when reading that story. Look, I get it completely, I get it. The Denver Lane and the Hoovers, they hate each other, but to put up like that and just let off shots, man, that shit is crazy. But then again, we're talking about the Denver Lanes. And trust, that's just one story. It's some crazy stuff that we're gonna get into that I found these guys. But first, let's get into the danger rating of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods.
Family, on lanes it be the same motion, blood. It's hard. How the fuck? That's why I discover how do other motherfuckers get their retirement papers, blood. You know what I'm saying?
We get ours by death, huh?
Basically, how the where do retirement papers come in, blood? At what age do I turn into a kickback OG gangster or some old shit? Man, that ain't gonna never happen, blood. I ain't even, my goals in life ain't to be a OG, period, nigga, for real.
YG for life, huh? With them.
I mean, on lanes, nigga, I'm a old YG, period. That's the best I could be.
The Denver Lanes received a danger score of a 9.6 out of 10 based off of the gang's long history in not only Los Angeles, but in different cities like Pasadena and even in different states. These guys are arguably the most militant gang in Los Angeles. But what do y'all think though? Would y'all went higher or lower? Y'all let me know in the comments and give me some reasons, some stories on why though. Let's have a conversation about it, man. Let's have a conversation. Y'all heard one story, man. Let's get into some more cases on why these guys received the danger score they got. Who are the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods?
Let me ask you a question. You know what I'm saying? If that same walking with his kid shot you when you was with your kids, what would you do?
That's for the homie Lil Laniac, blood.
You probably, and you might just have
That's
to handle your
Lil
business.
Laniac.
But you know what I'm saying? You know, my brother died like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't give a about that. If that's that man I want.
The Denver Lane Gangster Bloods, or the Figueroa Riders, are an African-American street gang named after a residential street called Denver Avenue between Hoover and Figueroa Street, located on the west side of South Los Angeles, California, with the Vermont Vista neighborhood as a stronghold for the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods. And the rest of the neighborhood stretches from 105th to 120th between Vermont and Grand Avenue. The 110 freeway acts as a borderline between the Denver Lane Bloods, the Broadway Gangster Crips, and the 118 East Coast Block Crips. The Denver Lanes have several cliques. A few of them include the 106th Street Lanes, the 108th Street Lanes, the 109th Street Lanes, the 111th Street Lanes, and the 105th Street Lanes. And the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods also have a subset in Pasadena, and this subset is known as the Pasadena Denver Lanes, or PDL. It was started in the late 1970s and formed another subset in Altadena, also known as the Altadena Denver Lanes. And these guys are not to be played with either. They're known to go at it with gangs and damn near everybody in their section. Matter of fact, a situation played out fatally for Ricky Holmes. On the night of January 27, 2016, Ricky Holmes was shot and killed on the intersection of 21st Street and Reedy Ave and San Bernardino. Holmes, an Aryan Brotherhood gang member, was a marijuana drug dealer. Mischief Darby, a member of the Pasadena Denver Lane Bloods, knew Holmes and had recent contact with him. Jameers Mario Cole, an Alley Boys member known as Baby Killer, was in contact with both Holmes and Darby in the evening of the murder. Cole had arranged for Holmes to come to a designated location where he was confronted and killed by Darby and Tyler Jones, a member of the Alley Boys known as Big Killer. Darby and Jones thought Holmes would have pounds of in the trunks of his vehicle. Authorities arriving to the scene found Holmes in the driver's seat of a silver Honda sedan with multiple gunshot wounds to his head, abdomen, and leg. A small bag of marijuana, 2 cigarettes, several plastic baggies, and pano sheets with the gram scale were found in the vehicle. However, no large quantities of drugs or cash were found. Holmes died at the hospital the following day from the gunshot wounds to the head and the abdomen. On the night of the shooting, a witness saw 2 black men in a black vehicle parked next to Holmes' silver sedan. She then saw Darby standing next to the front passenger seat of Holmes' window. From there, she heard Holmes and Darby exchange words before she saw Darby pull out a gun and shoot at Holmes, who was seated on the driver's seat of his car. Another man emerged from the black car Darby had been in. That man also started shooting. When bullets struck the witness's vehicle, she began to yell and went outside. She heard Holmes say, "Don't let them get my package. Where's my package?" before he slumped over the steering wheel. At first, the witness was hesitant to participate in the investigation of the crime, but she later reconnected with authorities and informed them that she would identify the suspect and identify Darby from a photographic lineup. She testified that she initially declined to identify Darby out of fear. After she spoke with the police though, the tires in her car had been slashed. She and her daughter were threatened, with the neighbors telling her, "They gonna get you. You a snitch. And snitches don't last long over here." She testified that she was afraid of Darby because this is a gang association. After giving her statement, the witness and her daughter ultimately moved away from the neighborhood because she feared for her safety. In the end, Darby was charged and convicted of murder, and the court sentenced him and his co-defendant to a term of 50 years to life in prison. That's just one story of the PDLs. They're known to be one of the most vicious gangs in Pasadena. Matter of fact, look up the video I did on the Pasadena Massacre to get an idea of how these guys moved in the 90s. Straight ruthless. All right, we know about the Denver Lane Bloods, and at least know a little bit about their brutal reputation. But before we get into some other crazy, some insane stories about these guys, let's get into the history of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods. What card they run with, subsets, cliques, allies, past and current beefs, and a lot of other things.
The Denver Lanes, man, we like a blood gang from the 70s. You know what I'm saying? We've been
70s.
going on and on. Y'all know, y'all done heard us on Banging on Wax,
3 decades.
Banging on Damo Riders, Flaming, everything, man. We're part of all this old thing right here, man. And we real, we true to it. You know what I'm saying? The Denver Lanes Bloods, of course, you know what I'm saying? We don't give a fuck about really nobody.
The history of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods goes way back. They're amongst the oldest gangs in Los Angeles, California, existing for several years before the blood identity was established in Los Angeles. The Red Room had been around since the 1970s, was a bar and one of the main kicking spots where the young group used to hang out, and eventually started to click up and become the Denver Lane Boys. During the 1970s, independent gangs such as the Denver Lane Boys, the Brims, the Bounty Hunters, the Van Ness Gangsters, the Chain Gang, and amongst others, fed up with the Crips' constant harassment, started the Blood Identity. And from the jump, these guys were one of the most feared gangs in Los Angeles. Yeah, the Denver Lanes was known to let it bang. Run up on them, you might catch a few of them things. Bars, nigga. Nah, it's really due to their violent nature and their means of operation. And not only Los Angeles, but in prison as well. It's a well-known member from the set named Peabody who became the founder of the prison fraternity, the United Blood Nation, in around 1984 or 1985 in Los Angeles County Jail. Yeah, whether in the streets or in jail, these niggas was known for bringing hell. Bars, nigga. Rivals of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods.
9 Deuce, A-Tray, 107, 11 Deuce. It's
Diamonds, Rice
Hoover.
Krispies,
We got
Bubble gum.
Busters.
We got straight static with these motherfuckers. These is the niggas that we added with. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers.
East Coast, 11-8, one nacho.
It's like an every year thing for us. You know what I'm saying? Day in and day out.
The Denver Lane Gangster Bloods have smoked with a lot of gangs. They're rivals with the Hard Time Hustler Crips, the Raven Avenue Crips, the 112 Broadway Gangster Crips, the 118 East Coast Crips. Other enemies include the Underground Crips. In addition to that, they've been known to go at it with other Bloods as well. Beef with the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods. Before 2013, the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods and the Inglewood families were friendly. But on February 9th, 2013, the two gangs had a party at the Normandy Casino, and at first, everything was solid. The two gangs were smoking, drinking, and gambling together. But a small feud between two opposing gang members escalated into a fight between the two blood gangs. And this wasn't one of them, hey, let's just catch the fade and then keep it pushing situation. Nah, it's alleged that guns were pulled and several threats were made by both gangs. So tension between the two gangs was high after that, and both gangs was ready for war. And that's exactly how it played out. About 4 hours later, Trayvon Odom, a known member of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods who attended the party, was murdered by Inglewood family blood members, and a few days later, on February 12, 2013, Inglewood family blood member Clarence Grant, also known as Big Claron, was murdered, and a war between the gangs was started. Within a week, there have been 9 shootings between the gangs, with 5 fatalities. Look, this was almost 10 years ago, so hopefully the rivalry has at least died down from then. Y'all let me know in the comments if it's even existed, or was that just like a little brief war you guys got into, man. Y'all let me know if it's peace from now or is it still some tension. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. Look, I can't say that there's still tension between those gangs, but one thing I can say is the Denver Lane's biggest enemy is definitely gonna be the Hoovers. Beef with the Hoovers.
Through, we gotta do what we gotta do. Niggas gonna get done in, niggas trying to do us. We ain't showing no mercy. This bill status, niggas is out here doing it. Niggas out here ain't showing no mercy. We gonna let you down.
On the evening of June 1st, 2008, Emmett Love Jr. was shot in the back of the head at a bus stop in Los Angeles, California. Jackie Wynn heard the gunshot, saw Love fall to the ground, and saw a small black man run to a 4-door Mercedes parked in the front of a church. It's alleged that the shooting was done to avenge the May 31st, 2008 killing of Derek Chambers, also known as Baby Hangout, a member of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods. Eric Devion Boyd, also known as TikTok, was a member of the Crenshaw Mafia Blood Gang, which is an affiliate of the Denver Lanes. On the evening of May 31st, 2008, TikTok visited the Denver Lanes apartment and announced that Derek Chambers, aka Baby Hangout, a member of the Denver Lanes, had been killed. TikTok believed that the Hoover gang members killed Chambers and wanted to retaliate. Kaylin Weisberg, a prostitute who hung out with the Denver Lanes, overheard TikTok say, "I'm gonna get somebody for you, Baby Hangout," as people in the apartment made phone calls to locate a gun. On June 1st, 2008, a candidate was held for Chambers. TikTok and Denver Lane gang members Rayvon Richardson, aka CALI'S, and Casey Purdue, also known as Hiphop, attended the candidate and left in a black 4-door Mercedes after a gang member named Shady gave Hiphop a Western revolver. As they drove, TikTok saw some kids on Century in Vermont and got in the car to see if they were Hoovers. Richardson drove around the block and TikTok got back into the Mercedes. TikTok said the kids were gone and directed Richardson to keep going. Further down on Vermont Avenue, TikTok saw Emmett Love at a bus stop, and TikTok told Richardson to stop to see if the dude was from Hoover. TikTok gets out, walks up to Love, and shoots him in the back of the head before he gets into the car and they speed away from the scene. TikTok, Richardson, and Purdue tried to drive back to the candidate, but ran out of gas and ended up walking back. TikTok visited the Denver Lane's apartment later that night while he was drunk and high. A witness heard him say, "I just killed a Hoover nigga at a bus stop," while kissing his gun, as he said, "This is for you, Baby Hangout." Hiphop left the Denver Lanes in 2009 and told the police that TikTok was the shooter and Richardson was the driver. Hiphop was granted immunity and placed in witness protection. TikTok was arrested a year after the shooting and told Denver Lane gangster members Derek Kelly about the shooting. On June 24th, 2009, a jailhouse conversation was recorded amongst the two. TikTok said, "Hiphop was supposed to jump out. I really did that shit. I did that shit." Kelly asked, "Who's you are with?" TikTok responded, "Hiphop and CALI'S." Yeah, Hiphop froze up. Hiphop fucked up. Hiphop was supposed to jump out. TikTok also said that he suspected Hiphop talked to the police because they knew too much. They knew shit I didn't even remember, he said. In the end, TikTok was convicted of the murder of Emmett Love and sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. Prominent figures from the set. And who the OGs, the YGs, shit like that. Some of the OGs from the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods include Mad Mo, G-Mont, Lil Grimlock, and T-Man. Also found a list of OGs who are no longer with us, so rest in peace to them. A few of them include G-Sex, who's one of the most well-known and respected Bloods before his passing. He was killed on 108th and Figueroa back in 2001. Also, rest in peace to Baby Hangout, who died in 2008. Jimmy Lee Lewis, also known as Cricket, Elizabeth Thor, also known as Coco, and Shane Leroy Riller were all killed in Inglewood during a drug transaction that went bad on the 3600 block of West 109th Street. Y'all let me know if anybody else rest in peace in the comments, man. Let their names live on. The Denver Lanes that had more than a few rappers who put in work for the set as well. The Damu Riders was a popular group in the 1990s, consisting of several Bloods from South Central, Inglewoods, and the Watts regions of Los Angeles, California. B Brazy was a well-known member of the Denver Lanes and considered one of the most popular members of the Damu Riders. He's also one of the originators of the term woo woo. Other Denver Lanes from the Damu Riders era include 8 Ball, June Dog, Peanut, aka KP, Lil Nanak 2, and G-Land, also known as OG Land. Unfortunately, B Brazy was killed in 2003. Rumor has it that he was trying to get something from a female and ended up going to a hotel. When he was there, dudes just hopped out and started shooting several times. Some say he was shot by his own homies, and others say he was shot by enemies. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about this one, man. Either way, man, rest in peace to B Brazy and any other OGs who lost their life while gangbanging. Hey y'all, I stumbled on this photograph. It kinda made me laugh. It took me way back down Denver Lane. Nah, look, Mr. Dulo is a Los Angeles legend when it comes to street music. He dissed down there every set, but shit, even his enemies was rapping his songs. Another rapper who has been putting in work for the set is Infant Passa. Bro got bars, real gangstered out flow, and definitely is a storyteller. And YG, bro hard too, kind of reminds me of like a modern day Sugar Free with his flow. They also have a group called Lane Life. Y'all make sure y'all check all them out and let me know in the comments if I'm leaving out any rappers, man. Let me know. Current state of the Denver Lane Gangster Bloods. Los Angeles has seen a lot of gangs come and disappear over the last few decades. But the Denver Lanes was one of the first sets in the city and are still putting in work today. The Denver Lane Bloods are by far one of the most biggest sets in Los Angeles when you combine all their subsets, and they are definitely still one of the most active gangs. They have been in the headlines for several extortions, robberies, killings, and a lot of other crazy shit. Y'all seen the stories, y'all heard the stories as well. A lot of the other stuff I couldn't even put on YouTube, man. These guys were doing some stuff back then, I can promise you that. These niggas have grown to the point to where they have subsets in different states as well. The Denver Lanes have subsets in Oregon, New York, Texas, Baltimore. But y'all let me know in the comments if I'm leaving out your state, man. Rep for your state. That's it for the Denver Lanes though. Y'all any crazy stories, any close calls from you guys? Did I miss anything? Did I get anything wrong? Y'all let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it, man. Let's have a conversation. Subscribe. Hit that bell if you will. Y'all stay safe and dangerous out there.